Hello, hello, hello. Getting things set up. So one thing I did forget to do was actually to cover the fun solutions for round 1. So I'm gonna go and import some things. Non-scoring. I think GGGal also had a non-scoring solution. Oh, and the reason why you don't see me hit sign on right now is because it is 6:57 and I already put the 4th puzzle in here, so you'll get a sneak peek if I clicked on that. And where is GGGal? Okay, I got it. Anime posted in the Zachtronic SpaceChem chat that, as Sir would say, you need to add more flip-flops. Flip-flops are such a great invention. It really blew open the doors for possibilities of what you can end up doing in SpaceChem. Flip-flops and sensors, honestly, they are some pretty incredible stuff. Okay, so the round 2 deadline has passed. I wonder if Zig managed to... Oh no, Zig didn't manage to make it. Aw, that's unfortunate. Oh no. Oh boy. That is a name. Incredible. Yeah, you guys are in for a treat. Alrighty, so round 4 has been announced. Yeah. Behind bars is round 4, but we'll quickly go through some explosions and fire non-scoring solutions. Whoops, this is the wrong one. It's pranked, not explosions and fire. My bad. So this is Yellow Bunny's one Waldo solution to pranked. It is kind of crazy. A lot of flip-flops. Yeah. And it's doing the this kind of shape. Yeah, there's a lot of dodging things left and right because I only got one flip-flop, or sorry, no, you only got one Waldo, so you've got to mess with a whole bunch of flip-flops to get things to count and go to the right places and all of that. And then lastly, there is GGGal. Let me just go and quickly import this. Copy, import as new solution. Oh. Nothing in the input zone. Oh, wow, okay. That was one very cool rotation. Wow. Okay, I need to see that again. Okay, let's see. Oh my goodness. GGGal, you are an absolute madman. Look at that. Okay, I'm gonna keep trying to see if it actually clips into it at all, but that is an incredible rotation. Oh, it does! Wait, it actually clips into it. Huh. Alright, I'm taking a screenshot of that. Okay, yeah, that's, interesting. Oh yeah, this thing runs in 250 cycles. But yeah, unfortunately it uses like 6 bonders, so this doesn't score terribly well. Alright. So that was the fun solutions to pranked. Very, very impressive. I'm gonna duplicate this puzzle because I want to go and import onto a fresh thing. And then I'm going to go and download all of these solutions. Okay, well I guess I'll just have to delete all of them. Alrighty. Anime, yes indeed. Andy submitted, which was why I was like, ooh. If for those who don't know, Andy is incredibly talented SpaceChem player. Yeah. One of the best SpaceChem players around. So, I have not seen their solution right now because they submitted so late. But I did take a look at most other people's solutions. And yes, Tough Thought is on a roll. And also, we have a tie in symbols for second place at 43 symbols. And tie broken by speed, of course. Yeah, so let's talk about this puzzle for a quick moment. Um, so this puzzle is called Explosions and Fire, for the reason that nitrogen triiodide and silver nitride are both explosive compounds, and both of these molecules can be made by just, well, silver iodide and nitrogen. And the idea behind this puzzle is bond sorting. You might notice these bonders can only add bonds, and the only way to subtract bonds is by removing them using a quantum tunnel. So this is what makes this puzzle difficult. And honestly, I have to say, I am pretty impressed by the solutions that came in. I think my first just quick solve came in at like 80 something symbols. I didn't bother to try to symbol optimize it. I was like, yeah, this puzzle is doable. The criteria that I have for puzzles, by the way, is if I can't solve it like quickly within like 30 minutes of just like looking at it and trying things out, then I'd think it's too hard. But if I can solve it even poorly, then I'd say, okay, then it is probably good enough for a tournament puzzle, as in I think it's reasonable enough that people... I think, I don't remember how long it took me to solve this, but it was within an hour for sure. It was not a good solve, but if I could solve it within like 30 minutes to an hour, just like quickly, and just have like a trash but working solve, then I would consider the puzzle overall to be a good enough difficulty to hand out for the tournament. But yeah. Anyway, so the idea behind this puzzle is you've got these two squares that you have to somehow bond sort to get your silver and iodine out, and then you make these shapes. One annoying thing about this is that for every 3 inputs of alpha, you'll get 2 outputs of each. It's like a 3-to-2 ratio, which pretty much everybody used flip-flops to count that 3-to-2. And we will see some pretty incredible stuff. Yeah. So let's go and take a look at this solution. So this first solution, the metric. The metric was symbols minus 15 because, okay, I'll quickly explain why that is a thing I did. You need at least input alpha, you need at least input beta, you need output psi, output omega, so that's 4 symbols overall. You need to debond using swap, so that's 5. You need at least 4 arrows because you need to cover both all these 4 corners, so that's up to 9 symbols. That's absolute necessity. You need a grab, of course, and probably a drop, so that's up to 11. You'll need a bond plus to make your output, so that's 12. Yeah, something like that. So that's just like, basically it's absolutely impossible to go below at least 12 symbols on this puzzle. Now, the minimum number of symbols on this puzzle is much, much higher than 12, of course, but this is kind of like the things that you would do to count, okay, how many symbols do I actually need before you start introducing all the stuff like complexity, where you actually need to program out a solution. So I picked minus 15 because, well, I knew that you're going to need a lot more symbols than 12, but I wanted to be safe, and I wanted to, after messing up the first week's metric, I kind of felt generous to give something a little bit less harsh for this week. So, yeah, and there's a plus, like, very, very small number of points for the cycles just to do typebreaker. So with that out of the way, we'll see how this solution works. So the start is over here to prime a bunch of flip-flops, and what priming a flip-flop is you want to run through the flip-flop once so that you can kind of set it on, excuse me, instead of like using another arrow, redirection arrow. So that kind of saves on symbols if you can prime them. Sometimes it's not doable. Sometimes you'll have unprimable flip-flops, which really suck, but you know, it is what it is. So this is Yellow Bunny's solution, and this is actually unique in its own class. The way that or I should say they sort silver and iodine is nothing unlike anything anyone else did. I'm gonna run this a little bit faster because this solution does take a while to run, but I'll wait until you can see the inputs. Alright, so yeah. So if this is a iodine input here, then okay, if this is input 2, I'll do that. The iodine is in the upper right corner and lower left corner. If this is input 2, this bond fails, and essentially this gets swapped over, and you'll get, after a whole bunch of swaps, you'll get iodines on top and a silver on the bottom. And then, yeah, it'll swap over a whole bunch of times and get that. Yeah, nobody else did anything like this. It's pretty incredible. And then you have a counter up here to input the next alpha. And you have a counter here. This is a 3 count flip-flop right here to input the beta for the nitrogen centers. Yeah, so here's another iodine, or input 2. Yeah, it bounces over like so many swaps, it's really hard to keep track. I think it was like 7 or something. Yeah, so input 1, it does something like this. This gets bonded, and then it gets rotated, and then swapped, and then you get a grab here, and this swap notably does nothing. If it was input 2, it would have done something, but with input 1, you hit like different swaps, and by the end of this, this grab goes to here, you still get iodine on top. And yeah, so it's a bunch of conditional swapping, grab dropping just based off of this bond plus that makes it either grab onto it or not. It's really clever, but also you might have noticed that it is also a lot of symbols. The one thing that does make me wonder is why Yellow Bunny decided to go for a one Waldo solution. One Waldo solutions are hard. They are tough, and unfortunately sometimes they don't always end up being lower symbols than the 2 Waldo solution. We'll see later on that I think one other person also did a 1 Waldo solution, but like, you guys are madmen. My solution was not a 1 Waldo solution because, yeah, they're hard. Especially for a puzzle this difficult. Swaps to open up space so it doesn't have to worry about moving around the input more than once. Maybe. Maybe. I'm not sure. But yeah. General idea is Yeah, the general idea is that it will just alternate getting this atom and then bonding to these outputs. So, let's see here. Let me read that again. Often submits one Waldo showcases and likes the challenge. That's fair. Combination of getting the right atom out. Perhaps. But yeah, this solution is really unique. I really suggest you guys to take a look at it in some more detail because, yeah, it's kind of like a mess of flip-flops, but at the same time, it is a designed solution, and it's got a lot of really clever stuff going on, especially this sorting thing going on over here. Yeah. Matter Monkey is up next. Now, you'll notice something really interesting in the solution. There is a molecule of nitrogen up here that I don't think, yeah, it never actually gets used. It will always stay in the reactor. You could argue it's a catalyst, but that term is mostly from like fission terminology. But the idea is you have some kind of persistent object in the solution that you just constantly reuse. In this case, is used to bond onto one of the things to rotate it or not. Yeah. And yeah, red does the beta input and stuff like that, and that'll set up the cores of the outputs, while blue does the alpha sorting. So the solution is one symbol lower than Yellow Bunny's one Waldo solution. So yeah, 78. Still better than my preliminary solution, which was like 86 or 89 or something like that. Yeah, it was, my solution was bad. Resumes is up next with a last-minute solution. And here we've got bond sorting. Now, notably, I believe this solution keeps on going through the nitrogens. I'm not sure. I don't remember if it does or if it doesn't. I'm gonna speed this up a little. Okay. Yeah, so there's a nitrogen up here that's never grabbed up ever again. And the persistent nitrogen is the one that's on this red grab drop all the time. Yeah. And now and then red will input a new nitrogen over here, blue will swap one of them away, and then red will grab it over here. No, the catalyst actually doesn't change. This nitrogen always remains this nitrogen. Yeah, it gets bond plus over here, rotate, and then it gets swapped over to this swapper, and this gets grabbed and dropped right here. So the catalyst is never rotated away. Oh, rotate the catalyst once per input. Yeah, so, okay, I misread the comment. Yeah, okay. Because it's using a single atom catalyst, you only need to rotate this once. You don't have to rotate it back the other way around. Because if you're using a N2 molecule, it will be all... You have to rotate it back, or else you'll probably end up crashing into the side of the reactor. Or crashing into the molecule. Where does beta start? Oh, it's all the way over here? Wait, is this timed? Oh, it might be timed. I was gonna say, this flip-flop looks like it might be able to be hanged like this, but I'm not sure if the timing can possibly work out if that's the case. I don't know. That's cycle 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13. I don't know. Let's try it. See if this works. Probably won't, but 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Resumes. Anyway, we'll pretend that never happened. Alright, so coming up next is anime, actually. So let's take a look at the solution. Swap. Oh, right. Anime does a very interesting way of starting out these how do I say it? Interesting way of starting out these the cores of the outputs. Yeah, the way that he manages to bond the outputs is really clever. I am wondering if it is possible to move this just one column higher to save on this flip-flop, but I don't know. Not enough space for the red sink. Oh, let's take a look. So this does this. Grab, sink. Where is that sink? Oh, the sink is all the way over here. Bond plus. There's this flip-flop. And this needs to delay once more. Yeah, this would have to be delayed over here. Sink. Yeah, that's difficult to figure out to see if it's possible to save it. I'll leave that as an exercise for someone else. It might be possible, I'm not sure. But yeah, if that is possible, then you should be able to hang this flip-flop.
Hey, Bricky.
Hello, RexKix. I'm currently streaming on Twitch.
Okay, I'll be quiet then.
You're on live mic. Yeah, Moraconda says hi, by the way. Pulling the in alpha down.
Hi there.
Is the in alpha pullable down? Maybe. But then this synchronize command. This red needs to run into another sync before it continues on to doing whatever. So I don't know if that'll actually save. I don't know if that'll actually save symbols. I don't know. Maybe. It's hard to say. But yes, Anime managed to do this puzzle in 63 symbols. So congratulations. And yeah, even though it says participation prize, again, this puzzle is not easy. The scores are all public. The best solution to this puzzle only managed to get down to 42 symbols. So take that however you will. Fipu Mave is next. 61 symbols. Yeah, there's a lot of waiting to set up flip-flops in this one. Same idea of breaking down the alpha input and making the outputs by adding the silvers and iodines one by one. And that's a... What is that? That's a delay flip-flop. Yeah. Right, because red has to go through all of this stuff or else it'll crash. And blue also does the outputs and the beta inputs for the new cores. Ah, clever. Right, so because there's 4 swappers, and because you need 3 alpha inputs for every 2 outputs, after 2 alpha inputs, you'll have 1 extra iodine and 1 extra silver. So you can always guarantee that you'll have 2 swapper spots open, which is how this solution breaks apart the nitrogen here. That's pretty clever. Yep. Cool solution for sure. 61 symbols. Up next is Foxydecimal with 55 symbols. And this is another one of those catalyst solutions. Yeah. To bond check here to move this into these two swappers to get the outputs, and it'll grab the other two atoms, rotate it twice to get the same two outputs. So red does all of this handling to syncs, blue only does the beta cores and stuff. But yeah. Right, so this is a really good model when it comes to like splitting up workload between Waldo 1 and Waldo 2, because you want to count to 3 for the alpha inputs, and you want to count to 2 for the beta input. So if you have each Waldo, you have one Waldo counting to 3 and one Waldo counting to 2, that's usually the best way to do things, because you don't have to have one Waldo doing like a 3-count flip-flop and the same Waldo doing like another 2-count flip-flop, because the routing gets much more messy, especially if you want to like combine lines and all of that. So yep, 55 symbols, and this is going to be the last pair of atoms, and there you go. Astro Nelson is up next. Astro Nelson. Now, priming flip-flops. Now that is a 4-count flip-flop. Swap. That is a interesting use of a flip-flop. This will hit the swap another extra 2 times for every other time except for the very first time it runs through. That's pretty interesting. Oh, right. Astro Nelson's solution is actually, I think it's the only solution that I've seen that uses one of these silver iodide blocks to do the bond sorting instead of grabbing a nitrogen to do the bond sorting. So, yeah. That's something noteworthy, I'd say. Yeah. 3 swaps. 3 swaps with 2 symbols, yes. Yeah, you'll notice that every time you have input 1, this thing will bond onto it and pull it down. Whenever input 2 comes up, it won't pull it down, which is why you have this this blue line that goes all the way up here to grab this and then rotate and drop it down here. That's what that line is for. You'll see it coming up. I don't know which input. Ah, here it is. Yeah, so this is going to go all the way up here, grab this, rotate, and then drop. So it's in the same orientation. Yeah. This is actually a really pretty efficient way of sorting the silver iodide, I'd say. Yeah. Overall, this is pretty elegant. 50 symbols. Yeah, once you really consider that the lowest symbol solution to this puzzle is only 42, like, this is already getting pretty optimized. So, yeah, congratulations. I'm just gonna go and speed past. Also pretty fast, too. Jojo is up next. And here is a hanged flip-flop. Let's see here. Red does all of this. And then, yeah. So red does all of the sorting and the output building. Blue only does the beta input to make the cores. Yeah. And also does the output over here. Because that's usually what you want to do with the beta, because the beta to output is 1-to-1. I'm gonna speed past this. Yeah, this this flip-flop here makes this hit the sink 3 times, which is useful. 49 symbols, just one lower. Darius 1 is up next. Under 50 is a milestone, I guess. You don't have to guess. It is a milestone. And yeah, this is I think this is the only other one Waldo solution. Bunch of flip-flop priming. And here's a beta for the cores. And then bond check. Ah, okay. Right, Darius 1 also does check the bonds with an alpha input. Let's see here. Swap, grab, and then it has to run through this another 2 times in case it was the other input, because then one of the swaps would be empty. And then it does it again. 1, 2, 3. Oh! Interesting. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure how this sorting works exactly. It's kind of magical. Like, this is empty, this is not, the next one is not, and then it does this another time. And then this is empty, that's also empty. That's not empty, that's not empty. Okay. Yeah, it's a little bit magical. Oh, hello, GGGal. Uses parody of the swappers. I guess? Yeah. It's definitely parody, uh, but I don't know exactly how it counts how many times to add onto the omega output and how many times it adds onto the psi output. Because um, it could be in spots 3-2, or it could be in spots 2-1. Like that's 2-1, and then when it grabs this to do that, it's going to be in 2-1 again. Symmetry of two pairs of two, something like that. But yeah, this is a little bit hard to follow. Swap the 3 to 4 to the bottom, 2 to 3 to the top. Yeah, doesn't matter which order the pair comes in. So if you swap 1, 2, 3, okay, if you swap at least 3 times, then you're good. Yeah, okay. Yeah, just empty grabs, yeah. Alright. Yes, 48 symbols. 1 below Jojo. 4th place. Binky. Default solution. Copy, something. Oh. Bye, Rexkix. Input Bravo. That's a grab. And then this does this. I thought it told enough of a story as it was. Output, input Bravo, swap. Alright, so that's the actual first input Bravo on red. Does this. Okay. So this bonds onto iodine. What if it doesn't? Ah, then it bonds to that iodine. Okay. Clever. So always bonds onto the iodine, no matter. Either it just happens to be this one or the other one. So that's how this one sorts. Yeah, one thing that people noted, well, Zig noted when he was doing his solution, was that the he had issues with over bonding the outputs, which is, yeah, it's unfortunate, but you do need to be careful of where you put your bond minuses because you can't unbond here other than using the swappers. So, yes, this is very elegant. They've got blue counting to 2, and those 2 red bonders are to bond while the blue Waldo is rotating. Why can't you have blue bond plus here and then rotate the next cycle? Like that. Oh, right, okay. Yeah, because in the case that it doesn't bond, yeah, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. But yes, Binky, 44 symbols. This is already getting very optimized. It was beaten by 3 people with 43 symbols and 42. Andy is up next. Um. Oh, alright, so this is my first time looking at this solution. This isn't quite a bond hammer, because it's hitting bond every other cycle, so you can do some very interesting things with breaking parity, and being on cycles where it doesn't bond. Okay, Andy's doing the same thing where Anime does, like, this kind of thing. How does the Bravo get... Oh, that's so clever! It's a rotating catalyst. Oh. Yeah, so every time it uses the nitrogen to sort the input, it gets placed back onto these swappers. But when it runs out of the when it runs out of nitrogen from making the cores, all it needs to do is just swap the input here into the over here. Yeah. This is incredible solution, no doubt about it. Yeah, it's got this flip-flop and this flip-flop to time this correctly. Yeah. Incredible solution. Yeah, and it does a 4-count flip-flop here because one of the first time it goes through is to put in the cores, and then the other 3 times are to add each of the atoms on top of it. Yeah. Very, very good solution. And then that Bravo, and this Alpha, yeah. Anyway. GGGal, also with 43, but much faster. Yep, same idea with the rotate versus not rotate as, I think it was Binky. And you see this 4-count flip-flop thing again. Overall, pretty similar to some of the solutions that we've seen in before, just really well implemented. We're using swapper 4 for beta input. I think I missed it. Okay. Swap, swap, drop. Ah, yeah. Yeah. Took advantage of the first input having AG in the lower right corner. It wouldn't work the other way. Let's see. Why would it not... Oh, because there's no bond plus. That's fine. Remember, precognition was not a no precog was not a requirement, even though precog rules technically say that the first input doesn't count, so you're fine. But yes, our number 1 solution is by Tough Thought again, at 42 symbols. I'm not entirely sure what to say about the solution. It's just like it's got echoes of like other solutions where the interesting thing to me is that red is actually sitting on a synchronized command up here and then another synchronized command here. The Bond Plus, of course, does the sorting, and the flip-flop, there's a single flip-flop in red to do the alpha input, and blue does everything else. Yeah, the beta handling and the bonding and all that. The really interesting thing about blue, though, is that it reuses the same bonder pair to build both of the outputs. Yeah, and it is constantly swapping out the top output and the bottom output as it makes it. And the flip-flop logic is there to, it's shuffling the products around. I'm not entirely sure why. I would have expected that making each product one by one probably would have been easier, but I don't know. Apparently, well, Tough Thought definitely knows better than me because they made the solution. I mean, there are 2 extra bonders down here to use if Tough Thought so wanted to. Yeah. I don't know. Don't ask me, I'm not the expert. Yeah, congratulations. And before I forget, I will go and look at the non-scoring fun solutions this time. But yeah, congratulations Tough Thought on 42 symbols and winning the second round. Import. Half the symbols during grab, drop, grab, bond, rotate, drop, only adding a couple extra grab drops. I suppose so. So this is GGGal's. Just one more row. Let's see here. If you had another row, how to put 2 bond commands on the... Oh. Yeah. Oh well. Gotta make do with this tiny little 8x10 reactor. This ain't Opus Magnum. Don't have some magically expanding infinite playing field. Sorry. Couldn't get the timing to work one more row and would have. Yeah. And what about this one? 41 if it had one more row here. Has a lot of flip-flops. Spent a long time trying to get the 2 bond plus this sync between the 2 Waldos. Wound up getting a 4th gap getting added due to initialization desync. Yeah. was gonna say, why couldn't you move this arrow up here and save like 2 symbols, but the problem is that it'll crash into this thing. That's unfortunate. Oh well. I don't know, maybe if there was like a different rotation with blue, maybe? I don't know. Probably not. I guess, I mean, GGGal has probably spent way more time on this than I have, so... Yeah. Yeah, this puzzle is not easy. The puzzle that I was most closely considering to this, it was a previous puzzle named Upscale Downscale. But instead, that puzzle had 2 bonders. Tried a whole bunch of different paths. Every one ran into some problem with that forced the symbol count back up to 43. Yeah. I was thinking that this puzzle was going to be around the same difficulty as Upscale Downscale with 2 bonders. And I think the symbol count end up being roughly the same. But yeah, these are not easy puzzles, so... Yep. And that is all the solutions for round 2. I've already introduced round 3, which is semiconductor refinement, so I guess it's time to introduce round 4. Round 4 is a bit of a doozy. It's called Behind Bars. And you're like, oh, okay, what is this? This is just like, what is it? I think it was like Prelude to a Migraine. I think that was the campaign level. It's either that or like something related to a headache. But the idea is you get nitrogen and oxygen inputs, and you have nitric oxide as the output. The campaign level had like a 75-25% split on nitrogen and oxygen only, but this level has 1/3 nitrogen oxide, 1/3 nitrogen, 1/3 oxygen. So do note that that is a significant difference. For every bucket that you get, you should be able to make all nitric oxides. You shouldn't be able to build up any waste. Another note: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. The bucket size for this is actually reduced to 6 molecules. So you'll notice that every 6 inputs, you'll have exactly 2 oxygens, 2 nitrogens, and 2 nitric oxides. That's because the requirement of this is you gotta... it's more of a reactor optimization puzzle. Oh, right, I forgot to mention, your solution must run forever. I need to go and update that. I'm gonna go and update that, forgot to say that, because yes, you could use a waste pipe, but no. Sorry. One sec. Run forever. TPU round 4 with the text. Alright. So, stabilized reactors. Yeah. So, this is essentially the main gimmick of this puzzle, and why it's called Behind Bars. You have quantum walls horizontally across every single row of this reactor. This is also why every reactor has quantum tunnels in it. If you input an alpha here, you might notice the bonds are across this this quantum wall. And yes, you can grab it and drop an output, right? This is something you can do. But you cannot move up or down, because you will crash into a quantum wall. You cannot rotate, because you will crash into a quantum wall. This is going to be an interesting challenge for y'all to figure out. Again, the metric is reactors. So try to use as few reactors as you can. The limit for the number of reactors you can use is 3. And it is easily doable in 3. I've played this, I've play tested this puzzle. It is easily doable in 3. It is doable in 2 as well. I'm going to keep quiet about if it's doable in 1. that is homework assignment for all of you to figure out. And there is a plus 0.01 symbols. So it is going to be every 100 symbols is kind of like the equivalent of adding another reactor, but it is still primarily a reactor optimization puzzle with some symbols tiebreak / influence to this. So yeah, the first reactor, you have 2 sensors, 2 quantum tunnels, and 4 bonders. And the other reactor, you have 4 quantum tunnels, 8 bonders, but you do not have sensors in this reactor. So this is a challenging puzzle. If you want to make a 2-reactor solution, please do. Please make a solution before you try to optimize for lower reactors. This is not an easy puzzle. This is hard. So please get a working solution first before you try to think about ways of cutting down on reactors. Yes, because of the way the reactors are set up with going, left to right. Okay, Binky, if you want to dive into 1 reactor, be my guest. But I will say, this is a hard puzzle if you're trying to optimize for reactors. It is doable. I'm pretty sure it's doable. I think. Remember, I have to be quiet about it. But it is something for all of you to figure out. Yes. And I made the bucket size smaller to 6 to make it kind of just quality of life, because counting up to 12 is not really a fun thing to do. 6 is also... I'm pretty sure if you can count up to 6, 12 is pretty much just kind of the same thing. Yes, the space inside the reactors might have something to do with it. Might have had some advisement from IEEE. I'm not going to say anymore. Yeah, have fun with this puzzle. The next puzzle, round 5, is not going to be announced until the 29th. So you have a full 2 weeks to finish up round 3, round 4, and so you can focus on that before round 5 happens. Teams. Yes, team building will happen starting next week. If you do decide to form a team, I have to double check if I'm able to put you guys in teams for round 4, but it is for sure I can put people into teams for round 5. Yeah, Binky, try not to spoil too many things on stream. Remember, it is a competitive advantage. Anyway. yeah, so yes, so teams. Yeah, I'll need to double check to see if I can get people into teams to do this puzzle, because this puzzle is hard. Um, but yes, round 5 will definitely be open for teams, and the rest of the puzzles will also be open for teams. Um, so after this round, after round 3 is the last one that I'm forcing people to do by themselves for solo. Um, yeah, round 4 should be able to be done in teams, but I need to double check with my tools. And round 5 will definitely be doable in teams. Round 6, round 7, and round 8 will all be teams as well. So yeah. So to results stream. And I'll see you guys next week for round 3 results. Bye, everyone. Yeah, have fun.